Hi everyone, welcome to Sherees Kitchen, and I'm Sherry, coming from my kitchen to yours. Well, today we are going to be doing a gluten-free recipe, and there are so many people that are gluten intolerant or gluten sensitive that I've had a lot of requests to do a gluten-free recipe. So today I'm going to show you something simple. I like simple because my life is too busy to have to do so many complicated things. So today we are going to do a gluten-free wrap. And so hopefully you're going to enjoy it as much as I do and many others who have tried it. And so hang in there, we're going to get through this. It's so simple. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Remember I said simple? I mean simple. So we're going to look at our ingredients first. We have 1 cup of tapioca flour, 1 cup of almond flour, fine, half a teaspoon of salt, and today I'm using oregano and parsley. You can choose any seasoning or herb flavor that you like. But today we're going to use oregano and parsley. And last of all, we are going to be using coconut milk. Now this coconut milk is the light. The original recipe called for full fat coconut. But just so you know the difference, the calories in the light is 50 and the calories in the full fat is 120. The fat in the light is 4 grams. The fat in this one, the higher, the creamier one, is 11 grams. And so I find that the coconut light makes it a lot better and not so oily and greasy. And so I'm going to be using the light today, and that's the original. That's not the original, but today that's what we're going to do. So let's just put it all together. We have our 1 cup of tapioca flour. Then we have our 1 cup of almond flour, fine. Then we have our half a teaspoon of salt. I use the Himalayan sea salt. We stir that up. And now we're going to add our herb seasonings, our oregano, and our parsley. Now you can't get any simpler than that. So now we're going to mix all of the dry ingredients so they're thoroughly combined. See, they're all mixed up. You see the little green specks in there, that's the herbs. And now we are going to put in our coconut milk. This is the only liquid that's going to be used. And you see it's nice and light and creamy. Now some of you may have made in the past crepes. This is similar to making crepes, but without the wheat. You know, some people, because of their sensitivity to gluten, have tried to find many gluten-free recipes, and you go into the store and you see all of these different things, and some have eggs, some don't, some have other thickeners and stuff that you don't desire. Well, this is really simple, and if you're like me, if something is gluten-free and you're not going to have bread, as long as it acts like a bread, looks like a bread, I'm good. Okay, so even myself, I get off the gluten for a while because eating too much of it even can be a problem, especially those of us who have destroyed our gut health. And so you might want to take a break sometime and do some of these gluten-free items because they're tasty too. Now we're going to cook them on a cast iron pan, and so we'll be back and I'm going to show you that. Okay, we're back. Now we are going to make our crepes. I have chosen to use a cast iron crepe pan. I tried it in a nonstick pan, but it seems as I'm trying to twirl it, it tends to slide all to one side or the other. But the cast iron pan is, has the ridges in it so it doesn't slide as easy. So, and I also have to have a hot mitt because this handle gets hot too, so make sure you take care and protect yourself from that. All right? The batter is 1/3 cup per wrap. Now, if you want bigger, it can be bigger if you like, but you're going to get less tortillas. I have gotten 6 from a recipe, okay? So we're going to get started. Our pan is heating. Put it up a little bit higher. I sprayed the pan with a little bit of coconut oil and then wiped it with a paper towel to keep it from sticking. All right? So our pan is heating, and I think I can get started now. Remember, 1/3 cup. Now, most of you are used to making crepes, and when you make crepes, you kind of twirl it around in a circle to try to spread the batter thin. And so that's what we're going to do here, because we don't want a thick crepe, we want a thinner one. It comes to about 10 inches. All right, so we are going to wait for this to start browning. And as it browns on one side, it's going to start drying from the edges in. And as that happens, you are going to be able to turn it without it sticking. So we're going to, hopefully you'll see all of that as we go forth here. Okay? So let's wait and watch and see. So you see some bubbles starting to come up. That shows that there's heat and it's working on the lower underneath level. All right? So gluten is something, it's a protein of the wheat. And because they have changed in our wheat today, they've hybridized it. And they have made it to a point where it's so high in protein that many people cannot tolerate it. Even if you're not gluten intolerant, you are gluten sensitive. And so it's good every now and then to make a change up, get off for a while, especially if you had to be on any antibiotics, which is very detrimental to the gut. And now you want to heal the gut, so you want to take in more probiotics and eliminate some of the things that cause some of the problems. And so today, this here particular recipe is very good, especially if you're a bread lover like I am. So even now, I have eliminated it for a while in order to get my gut health back. So as you can see, it's starting to dry, still moist in the center. And so, so we're going to wait. And you want to test your edges to make sure they don't stick. And so as it dries, I test before I flip so I don't leave any behind on the other side. Okay, so it needs a little bit more drying time. And after this, we're going to show you how we take a simple wrap like this and make it into a nice sandwich for you. And we're going to be using tofu, but if you want to know how to make the tofu, I have another video if you go to Sherees Kitchen, and it'll show you how I make my tofu. Now in the video, it shows it in cubes. You don't have to do it in cubes. You can do it in pieces, so it's easier to put into a sandwich, as you'll see when I start making it. And so, or you don't have to have tofu at all. You can use veggies like avocado and tomatoes and sprouts and whatever else, even some beans if you like. And so there's a lot of things you can put into these crepes, and you will be satisfied when you eat them. And I usually only have one as a serving. So, okay, let's test it again. As you can see, it's let loose more on the edges here. And I'm going to take a peek. It's still a little light in color. Usually it takes about 2 minutes on one side and maybe 1 minute on the other side. I have my flame up a little bit lower, so it's going to take a little bit longer. So, like I said, you can use cast iron is the better material that I find so far to doing these crepes. Okay, let's check it now. It's going to be a little light. And we're going to flip. This one's going to be a little bit lighter in color because my flame was a little bit low. But it can get a little darker, but it's done. And we'll leave it on the other side a little bit longer so that it can be some browning happening here. Okay? So, again, like I said, this batter makes about 6 crepes. And usually I'm going to show you how I store them. If you have a tortilla keeper where you can put these round wraps in, that's good. But if you don't, you can take and put them into on a plate, and I'll show you how I store them. Okay? So we're going to keep going here. I'm going to make up the rest of these. We should get about 6 of them, and then I'm going to show you how to make that delicious sandwich. Be back. Welcome back. We have completed all of our wraps. As you can see, we have 6. Isn't they wonderful? They're beautiful. Now, When you store them, I store them with parchment paper in between each layer because they can stick together. So I'm going to show you how I do that. And I want you to see as I take a wrap, and they're very, very flexible, as you can see. All right? And so we're going to put a round, now you can purchase these or you can cut them out from larger parchment pieces. So I'm going to put the first layer of parchment piece there, put there, one on top, and just in between each one, I am going to put a parchment paper. Now when you refrigerate these, they will get firm. So what you want to do is take and warm them up on your crepe pan, and they will soften up again. Because of the coconut oil, when it gets cold, it gets a little firmer. All right? So now if you have a tortilla keeper, you can put these in there, or you can let them cool and put them into a plastic bag and store them in the refrigerator. I'm going to take this last one and I'm going to make a wrap sandwich out of it. All right? So we're going to put that on a plate. Now, I'm using today cucumber dressing, homemade cucumber dressing. And here is what I want to share with you. My daughter, who has 2 cookbooks, and it's called Real Food Recipes. This is the first one she created, and on page 43 is the recipe for the cucumber dressing. And then she also has this one too, and the name is Sherees Dawson. So if you go on Amazon, you can find those cookbooks and order them if you like. A lot of good, healthy recipes in there. So I'm going to take the cucumber dressing and I'm going to use that like mayonnaise. And there's also a mayonnaise recipe in the book if you prefer. So we're going to put this on. I'm just going to squirt it on our bread. And you can put anything in there. Today I have chosen to do a little bit of tofu, and the recipe is also in the cookbook. You can put in some pimento cheese, which is also another recipe in the cookbook. You can put in some of that soy cheese if you like, whatever your choosing is. So I'm going to put this on the bottom here. You don't have to even use tofu all the time. You can use just all veggies if you like. So then we're going to put a little bit of tomato slices on top of that. And if you have avocado, you can use avocados. And then we're going to top that off with some alfalfa sprouts, just like that. Doesn't that look wonderful? Now I'm going to take and I'm going to roll it like a tortilla. And I'm going to wrap that here slowly, not too tight. You may rip the bread. And there you have a tortilla wrap. Just so you can see the wonderful goodies inside, I'm going to slice it here for you. Isn't that wonderful? And it is delicious. And you and your family will enjoy it. And we also pack these in lunches. You can do that too for your children, and they will hold. And so I want you to give this a try because, especially if you are gluten-free or gluten intolerant or gluten sensitive, you will enjoy something different that you can make yourself, and you know the ingredients that you put in there all by yourself. And so thank you, and I appreciate you tuning in. And we have other videos. You can subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Or if you have questions or comments, just let us know, and I will get back to you. Thank you.